So as a final thing in our UV basics, I'm just going to do an exercise on unwrapping this object here. So something like this used to be an absolute nightmare. Anything like pipes, rounded objects, it used to cause a lot of problems. But it's pretty straightforward now with some of these new UV tools. So let's look how we can approach this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a base level to work from. So as I've talked about in other tutorials, I'm going to go into the planar map and I'm going to set this to the area that I have most, or my biggest surface area. So this is coming from my z-axis over here. So I'm just going to right click over my planar to get that projection from the z-axis. So that's just a starting point, getting rid of all my seams and everything else from that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my, let's go into edge mode. I'm going to use my 3D cut and sew UV tool. Let's go in. Let's just double click on these to get that out of the way. Double click on those to get those out of the way. And what I can then do is, now I've got those separated off, just double click on that to give us a seam right down there. So if I just click on there, you can see we've got our different shells there. I'm just going to double click on this one. Why is that not split that out? Oh, it has split it out, sorry. Let's just move this to one side for a second. So I'm just going to face mode. I'm going to grab this and this, grab those two, and I'm going to do a planar. And I'm going to do a planar from the y-axis. So let's just middle click on this. Actually, what I might be better doing is doing them individually. Let's grab that one. Just double click on this in face mode, middle click on that. That's going to give me my planar maps. I like to use this area around here. When you do an unfold on something or a planar map on something, it puts it into this 0 to 1 space straight away. Mainly doing planar mapping on that. So I just like to move those out of the way so I've got more room to work here. So that's separated out these two. I've now got this section left, which is all around this pipe. So with that, I'm going to select the UVs on that, and I'm just going to do an unfold. Okay. Let's see if we can straighten this. So let's go in and just straighten shell. And actually, that's done that. If that didn't work, we could have gone in, remember, and just grabbed some of these edges down there, and we could have done, let's go into the orient to edges and done it that way as well. So a couple of different ways. So this has given us a set of UVs along here now, which is pretty even. We could fix this even more with something like this. These are pretty evenly spaced. These are all kind of straight lines around this. Although it's an organic shape, each of our edge loops is pretty square, whereas on these we've got some curvature on there. So we can try to fix that. Let's get our UVs again. And what I'm going to do is, under the unfold section, I'm just going to use this straighten UVs. So click on that, and that straightens all of those out. And that's done a pretty good job of that. Okay. Going to look at my distortion on that, and it's not bad at all on there. Done a pretty good job of it. Let's go into this. So now we want to lay these out. So let's grab all of these UVs, shift click on my layout, and I've got my shell pre-scaling, preserve 3D ratios on. I'm going to allow this to rotate if needs be, and let's click apply. And that's brought these into our UV space. Now, this isn't the best use of this UV area. So what you may want to do is actually cut this into separate parts. So if I go through and let's just grab, let's go into edge mode here. Let's grab this edge here and this edge here. Let's go in and just cut those, shift right click. And actually I'm seeing, no, that's okay. Let's grab those UVs and this time, let's do the layout again. And there we're just making better use of the textural density there. Okay. So that's just a practical example using some of the different tools that we've looked at over the course of these UV basics.